Ladies and gentlemen, here we are live on Office Hours. My name is Chris Donaldson, and welcome to my, again, upgraded and brand new office. If you are checking us out for the first time, let me welcome you to the show, welcome you into my office, and welcome you to the wild world of real estate Q&A. So again, my name is Chris Donaldson, and we do this show for you. And so if this is a show that you have been wanting to check out, I know that there's a lot of you guys out there that are new, that haven't checked out the show before. If you are, welcome. Let me tell you, this is all about real estate. I've got a collection of Q&A right here that's coming from emails, the mailbag, social media, you name it. So the reason we do this show live is for you. So if your question gets answered, if I've got it pulled up right here, then you already know what I'm going to talk about. But if you've got a question that comes up during the show, please feel free. If you're watching right now, you're on the watch page, you're on YouTube, you're over on Periscope, you can either put it in the comments or on Periscope/Twitter, use the hashtag office hours. Got my trusty laptop over here, got my man Jordan on the ones and the twos behind the camera, and we will look at your question and we'll try to answer as many as we can. So if you've got one, just go ahead and let me know. So before we get into the show, those of you that may be regular viewers, you'll notice every week there's a little something different. And this week, most importantly, we finally have our new microphone equipment. So if it sounds a little bit better, it better, because we consistently are reinvesting in what we're doing here in office hours. Because I want you guys to know, first of all, if you weren't here to watch, we wouldn't do the show. But second of all, we do it completely for you. And Office Hours has gone from a side project to the main project. It's got my attention, and I know it's got yours. So I can't wait for the end of the month show, which is all about your Q&A. And so, Jordan, as we were looking ahead of time, we were trying to pick from all of the questions that get emailed. So first of all, thank you guys who are watching the show, and thank you guys who are actually sending and emailing me your questions that are real estate related. Don't think you're bothering me. I love it. So if you've got a question at any point, I told you right now during the live stream, put it in the comments, or you can also make sure if you're watching on Periscope/Twitter, use the hashtag office hours, but you can email me anytime, chris@christalks.com, and that's where this collection of questions came from. So it's the end of the month show, and therefore that means it's all Q&A. So my goal is to present as much value to you and answer the questions that you guys have brought to me. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump in. And again, whether it's something we're talking about or anything real estate related, if you've got a question, bring it on. And I'm going to keep playing with my new mic because I'm just so happy to have it. Hopefully it sounds good on your end because Jordan did everything. All I do is show up and start talking. All right? So the first question comes from a man, Duke. So Duke, if you're out there, thank you for your question. And in one sentence, he managed to ask 4 questions. So I actually give Duke an efficiency value of 100, but I can't answer all of it, but I'm going to get to the main point. So Duke emailed and asked, I'm looking for the step-by-step process for finding a renter and also how to carry out the process, and also for getting a listing, finding a buyer, and how to put in an offer. And then he put at the end, how do I collect my commissions? So Duke, I love you because you asked like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions in one sentence. Awesome job. So I'm actually going to focus on the middle because the middle is the most important part, which is how do I get a listing and how do I find a buyer? Because if you're a real estate agent out there, whether you're new or you're experienced, the biggest thing I want to share with you is that writing up an offer, collecting your commission, etc., guys, that's actually somewhat of the easy part. In other words, we could train you how to fill out contracts, and I could certainly train you how to show up on closing day and cash your commission check. But what I can't do in a short period of time, But what you need to know is that getting the listing is the hard part. Finding the clients to work for, that's the hard part. So, Duke, if you're watching, to appropriately answer your question, I want you to focus on actually getting a listing, which means you need to be prospecting and marketing, filling up your business funnel, always trying to have conversations related to real estate that lead to appointments where you can talk to sellers about listing with you, which then in turn you can use your skills to find a buyer, collect a commission check, and then we can go around and we can start it all over again. So Duke, the real question that you're asking is, how do I get clients? And that's one of the reasons we do the show Office Hours. Maybe that's how you found us. So what I would tell you is, go to some of the other episodes where we've covered this in detail. Because part of what I want you guys to know is, just in the last month alone, the Office Hours email list has more than doubled, which means out there, if you're new, welcome. Welcome to the movement. Welcome to the show. But what I also want you to know is, as of now, every episode in its entirety is sitting on my YouTube channel to watch. So some of the questions like what Duke has asked, we've already answered. So Duke, you sound like you might be pretty new. So what I would suggest is maybe to go watch the What to Do in My First 30 Days as a Real Estate Agent episode. Jordan, help me out with that. What is that, episode 4 or 5? What to Do in My First 30 Days? And then right after that, I think episode 5 or 6, I'll get those definitely here in a minute because I know Jordan can pull them up. Duke, those talk about what to do in your first 30 days, the do's and don'ts for new real estate agents, and then lead generation basics. My man, those are your 3 episodes. If you haven't watched those, I would go refer to those because the statistics are staggering. And it's this, 72%, the last time I checked the stats, of those who listed with a real estate agent listed with the first agent they ever talked to. So Duke, what I'm focusing here on is the hard part of everything is actually getting the appointment to get in the home to be able to talk to the seller. That's the hard work. Everything else is important, but not as important as getting in the door. Jordan, what are those episode numbers? 3 and 4. So Duke, go to youtube.com/Chris Donaldson TV, episodes 3 and 4. Those are the ones for you, my man, because everything else, collecting commissions is easy. Finding a buyer, we can work on that. Those are skills that you don't need until you have clients to use them on. And so what I want you to understand is, until you have clients to use your skills on, we don't want to get caught up in the weeds of, hey, how do I put in an offer? Let's get you somebody to negotiate an offer for, and then we can come back to that. So, dude, thanks for your question. Those of you guys that may have had the same ones, and if you're new, again, that's the whole point. We have covered some of this. So, Jordan, why don't we pull up a clip from a previous episode just to prove that? If you could pull up the clip about losing more than you win. And I want to talk a little bit about the hard part is getting the appointment. So Jordan, roll with that clip, and I want to talk about it in a little more detail here in a second.
Absolutely revere in the people that say yes. Because remember, in real estate especially, not everybody's buying or selling a house right now. And a lot of times no's are just perception. It means not right now. It doesn't mean never. It doesn't mean not going to happen. It means unless you get a restraining order on me, you're welcome to call me or email me again.
All right, guys. So that is one of my favorite episodes because, first of all, if you were looking in the room on Office Hours, I had 2 of my good friends who are professional PGA coaches, which means they deal with both the swing and the mind of professional golfers. And we were talking about the concept and the complexity of the idea of just sales in general and real estate in general. You are going to get told no a lot more than you're going to get told yes. So the reason I wanted to show that is, first of all, that's an entire episode that we did based purely around mindset. And so what I want you to understand is, Duke, you might have to talk to 40 sellers and be in the room or call them on the phone or whatever the case may be to get one to say yes. And what I want to always focus on is the one that says yes is the victory. Don't worry about the rest, because remember, no doesn't always mean no. It means not right now. And the reason we pulled that clip is, again, it's an example of a lot of the questions, and I love it that you guys are emailing in. We've covered in great detail on this show for you already. And so I brought those guys in to show you whether you're selling houses, building a business, or a professional athlete, the idea of understanding that, like in golf tournaments, for instance, Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus, two of the greatest of all time, they lost way more golf tournaments than they ever won. So the idea here is, Duke, when you get started out, my man, don't be worried about the listings that you don't get. Focus on the ones that you do get, and let's double and triple down on how you got it. All right? So that helps you guys out there. Mostly for Jordan that's working hard behind the scenes, give him a like. Tell him what's up. Make sure that he knows that the stream looks good, that the audio is good. Because, again, he did all the work. All I do is show up and talk. My job is easy. All right. So I'm going to move on to the next question from the mailbag. Jordan, how we doing over there, man? Everything's good? Thumbs up? Love it. All right. So the next question is from an office hours viewer named Corey. So Corey, this is a great question, and I think a lot of you guys can identify with this one. And that is, I think my hat keeps hitting the mic. Can you hear that over there? So hopefully, all right, good. Because I move around a lot, so I'm going to make sure we've got the podcast, and we'll come to that, the audio, making sure that that's right. So Corey's question, and this is a really important one that I want to take some time on, because if you're a full-time employee, you're a mother, you've got other responsibilities, and real estate's important to you, I think Corey is asking a question that a lot of you have. And so his question is that he's strongly considering a career in real estate. The problem he has is that he has a wife. Well, that's probably not a problem. An 8-month-old son and a very solid job that pays extremely competitively for the area with decent benefits. So Corey sounds like he's good. But that being said, how possible is it for me to start out a real estate career as a part-time agent? Is this something I should even consider? Or is it too difficult without jumping straight into the deep end head first? Whoo, man. So Corey asks a question that I probably get 10 times a week. And that really is, well, look, I've got all these other things going on. So for Corey, it's a wife. It's a brand new son. Corey, if you're out there, congratulations, by the way. And a solid job. So in other words, what he's saying is real estate is likely a passion. Real estate is probably something that will bring him more satisfaction, verification, and possibly money than the job he's got. Otherwise, why would it be calling him? So as somebody that loves real estate, I get it from that perspective. So let's talk a little bit about Corey's situation. What he has is a time crunch, okay? And so when it comes to a time crunch, there's a quote I've used before. And so if you're a regular viewer, I use certain phrases and certain things that I say because I want you guys to really listen and hear what I'm saying. And that is short-term discomfort for long-term satisfaction. Jordan, you've heard me say that before. I'm going to say it again. Short-term discomfort for long-term satisfaction. So what does that mean? What that means is Corey might have to give up sleep. He might have to give up TV watching. He might have to give up anything that he does other than go to his regular job, take care of his wife and child in order to launch his real estate career. And the reason for that is because in the short term, that means when everybody else is off, including him, he's going to be working. So what does that mean? Before work, after work, Saturdays and Sundays? So, Corey, is it possible? The answer is 100% yes. The question you really need to be asking yourself is it worth it, or what am I willing to give up? I'm not in a position to tell you to give up time with your lovely wife because I don't think that's a problem, or your new son, 8 months old. That's awesome. What I'm saying is to succeed in real estate is going to take time and effort, but there's no rule that says it has to be 8 to 5. So what are you willing to give up when you're off? You know, if you're on the softball team, you might have to take a season off, right? If you play golf normally on Sundays, you might have to put that on hold for a bit. What are you willing to give up? Because you could certainly succeed part-time in this industry, but there's the other side. And the other side is that you don't want potential clients to know that. So, Corey, the short answer is yes, just like I said. But what you want to make absolutely sure is that the people that you're working with, that you're not telling them things like, I do this on the side, or this is my part-time gig, or my favorite, my side hustle. Ladies and gentlemen, that can be true, but if you're listing somebody's house for sale, they're not interested in hearing that. So as an example, I learned when I was studying about lead conversion that the statistics out there say there's optimal times to call potential leads in real estate. And guess when they are? Early in the morning when people are on their way to work, and in the afternoons when people are away home from work. So as an example, Corey, you could be blowing up your real estate business on before work, wake up earlier, after work, and nights and weekends. And for a period of 3 to 6 months, you could get that machine rolling to where either you can quit the other job because the benefits of real estate are greater, or you can kind of figure out a system on how you're going to work them all. So your situation is very, very common. And my answer is always yes, but what are you willing to give up in the short term in order to succeed in the real estate business? Because I can tell you that when I was in my early 20s and I was doing this stuff, I gave up a lot. I had my phone blowing up with friends saying, hey, we're going to this. And I'd be like, nope, sorry, I can't do it. I'd get invited to XYZ trip. Nope, sorry, I can't do it. And so what I want you guys to understand is that Corey's question is common, and the answer is yes. He's going to have to give up, Corey, you're going to have to give up something in the short term. And then the other side is, please, for the love of all that is holy, I'm going to use my new sound effect, Jordan. Don't tell them you're part-time. Don't do it. If you're hearing a sound effect, I did it on purpose. Corey, don't do it. All right. So, Jordan, actually, I want to pull up a clip because I want to show Corey a little something as well. We have an entire episode that we've covered on time management. And one of those things is where we talked about Parkinson's law. And it's one of my favorite things to discuss when we're talking about managing your time, because actually compressing time frames, doing things in a shorter period of time is not only possible, it's probable. And the idea that it's going to take this long and managing your time and all of it tied together is actually you need less time with more effort doing the right things. And so, Jordan, can you pull up that clip on Parkinson's law?
50 calls done today, and then tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next day. So Parkinson's law really is the idea of combining procrastination, and you really don't need as much time as you think you need to get stuff done. It's just a matter of blocking it. Because if you sit there and you say, I'm going to make 50 calls and hold yourself accountable, you'd be amazed what you can accomplish with that sort of activity, as opposed to, I'm going to log into my email and see where it takes me today.
All right, we are back. So, guys, if you just saw that clip where we're talking about Parkinson's law, I've got Instagram going here as well, because if you know anything, I want to be live everywhere. Jordan, if you're watching, can you grab something to stick my phone on right here so Instagram can get involved? So while Jordan's pulling that, if you saw the Parkinson's law clip, that comes right out of a time management episode. And so one of the biggest issues that we face in sales and that we face in real estate is just the simple idea of time management, okay? You hit a button here. All right. And so what Parkinson's law says is typically when we set deadlines, we're going to end up meeting that deadline. And so something I'm really passionate about is scooting up those deadlines. So in other words, with Parkinson's law, it's like, hey, if I give myself till Friday at 5, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait till Friday at 5, and then I'm going to turn that thing in, whatever it is. So part of what Corey would need to make sure that he does is compress his time frames by being as efficient as possible, which means set deadlines, set exact numbers on how many clients he's going to reach out to, how many people he's going to call, how many doors he's going to knock on. So just saying I'm going to do this part-time without having the exact deadline and exact numbers is going to be critical to him. So something that I talk about all the time, I want you guys to hear, is that if you're out there and you're a real estate agent and you don't have an exact goal for what you're going to accomplish this year in your career, and when I say an exact goal, I mean a number of transactions and or a dollar amount. Well, guess what? Once you have that number, then you need to put a deadline on it. So if that's an annual goal, there's a deadline right there, December 31st, which means now you know what you have to accomplish, and you could start when you have to accomplish it by, then you could start working backwards and make sure that you get there. So Corey, actually, the big thing I'm telling you is that you need to have a goal for your first year in real estate, even if it's just to sell 3, 6, 12 houses. And then now you can work backwards to know how much time you're going to need to devote in addition to your regular job, your wife, your new baby, and all those various things. So that's my answer for Corey. Thank you for emailing that. Jordan, keeping an eye on the watch page. Watch page is good. Instagram, you guys are amazing. What's up, Jamie, Craig? You guys, if you head over to the Chris Talks page, we are rolling on YouTube, and we'd love to see you over there. But thanks for tuning in on Instagram. As you can see, we are rolling live with the Q&A. So if this is the first time that you've watched the show, if you guys are new over here on Instagram, I'm actually going to slide this so I'm looking the same direction to the camera and to IG. Did I put Instagram in the camera when I did that?
Yes.
I did. Perfect. All right, there we go. Now is it out the camera?
It's still in.
Good, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you guys right over here, right by the mic. There you go. This is live television, baby. Okay? So if you guys are watching right now, if you're watching the watch page, you're watching on Twitter/Periscope, if you're watching on YouTube, if you've got a question for me that's real estate related, put it in the comments. Go ahead and do that now. Use the hashtag office hours if you're on Twitter, Periscope. I'll be looking for your questions, and this is the reason we do the show live. You got something on your mind? Let's go ahead and talk about it here. But in the meantime, I'm going through a stack of questions that's been emailed to us just in the last month. So I love you guys out there on YouTube. Keep emailing me, chris@christalks.com. Keep bringing your questions. I love it. If you find this helpful, hopefully you're getting some value out of the questions that others are asking, because some of these, I get the same question over and over. All right, so this one's relatively recent, yet it's a question I get all the time, and I'm going to have to go back down this road again. So Kim, my girl Kim, emailed, and she said, I'm getting myself prepared for the real estate business. Sounds like another new kid on the block. I start licensing class next week. Definitely a new kid on the block. I've been watching your uploads on YouTube, and I trust your opinion. Love you, Kim. You should trust me. I'm here to help. She asked, what app for the iPhone do you recommend as a CRM? Okay, so here we go again with the CRM question. And the CRM question is common. It's a good one, but it's one you've heard me talk about before. If you guys out there are watching, if you've ever asked what CRM should I be using? What CRM should I be using? Or if you're asking, what is a CRM? Then this is the question for you, because I get it all the time. We talk about it in the Superstars training class. I talk about it in business training. It is one of the essentials. And so here's the deal to answer Kim's question. Number one, she asked a very specific question. What app for the iPhone should I use as a CRM? So I would have to ask a follow-up question if I could. And I know I emailed Kim back, and I would say, why is it that you want to use an app, and why does it have to be on your iPhone? Because the thing about a CRM is that it is designed to be layered on top of the foundation of your business to make it work better, more efficient, and to help you convert at a higher rate. In other words, a CRM has its roots with the good old-fashioned Rolodex. And so, in other words, a customer relationship manager or management system, a CRM, is designed to take your database, your leads, your funnel, have them all in a particular place where you can then communicate with them. And the more advanced the CRM, the more data that it sucks in, and the more efficient you can become. So, for instance, a CRM can set up an automatic drip email campaign. Okay, so if you're on the office hours email list, you're in a CRM, right? And so it can make your process more efficient. It can help you work better. And so actually what I think Kim really wants to know is, well, how do I get started with this database thing? And so let's take it a step back, because I want to always ask when you're looking for a CRM. And so I'm going to ask this again. And if you're watching either live or on the replay, this is the question, and that is, how many people are in your database? Because if the answer is anything under 100, well, then what is a CRM going to do for you? Exactly. Because the big misconception, for the most part, is that a CRM is going to solve your lead generation problem. And actually what it's supposed to do is help really ramp it up, make it more efficient, be a technology layer on top of the foundation. So for instance, my grandfather's CRM, actually, I think I have it. I might bust it out on a future episode. If you want me to bust out my grandfather's CRM, which is a Rolodex, let me know and I'll pull it out. Because guess what? A CRM is just everybody that he wanted to contact in an order, like alphabetical order, and you would pull out the card, and I could turn it to the back, and it would say, when's the last time he talked to him, or sent him a piece of mail, what the conversation was about, and then guess what? He would just keep rolling that sucker over. And then if somebody was a warm or hot prospect, you'd take them out the Rolodex, you put them on the warm or hot Rolodex, and you start calling them more often. So technology has simply made that process better and more efficient. But if you don't have the foundation of your business solid, which means you are building a database, you're collecting everybody into one central place. If you're not doing that, a CRM is not going to fix that. It's going to expose that. So, Kim, back to your question, what I would suggest is first make sure you've gathered at least 100 people on a spreadsheet. So 100 of your sphere of influence, friends, family, your network. And once you've got 100 and you've got a systematic approach where you've reached out to all 100, picked up the phone and called them, sent them all a piece of mail, sent an email to them, then a CRM can help you ramp things up. So then it becomes the foundation of your business is solid, and now I'm layering technology on top of that. And so a CRM, for instance, if Kim is generating hundreds of leads per week, what we want is for them all to go into a central place. So we've talked about this on office hours and actually recently about having a central hub. And so, Jordan, why don't you roll that clip up, and then I'll tie that into Kim's question here about the CRM.
You're a top agent, a new agent, or anywhere in between, 50% of your business on average is going to come from your friends, your family, and your sphere of influence. Whether you're getting a friend that's asking you about real estate, you're generating a lead from Google, you've got something coming in from Facebook, somebody you met at a party, you need one central place where all of those leads are going. Because then you have them in one database, you can segment it over time, but you got to have one central hub. Because if you got things all over the place, you got some people in your Facebook Messenger, and then you got this guy you talked to the other day, and I got a business card on the floor, and then I got these couple of people that clicked on my Google ad. It's going to be very difficult for you to be fast and effective.
All right, guys. So it looks like you got a bonus clip in there, too, about lead conversion. But if you saw that quick little tip there, it's all about that central hub. And so with a CRM, and what I really want to see everybody do, is any potential lead, prospect, friend, family, whoever may do business with you needs to all be going into a central place. And then if you're doing that, then you need the systematic approach for how you're reaching out to these people, touching base with them. For instance, emailing, calling, texting, whatever the system may be. So when we're dealing with a CRM, so back to Kim's original question, it's designed to be a central place. But if your budget as a new agent is basically zero, well, then sign up for a Gmail account, open up a Gmail sheet, which is their version of a spreadsheet, and start dumping all of your possibles in there. And then once you have 100, then you might be interested in investing in a CRM. And then I've got suggestions on that. Because guess what? There's a multi-billion, with a B, billion-dollar industry involved in real estate technology with advanced CRMs designed to sell to you. There are some of the most incredible technologies out there. And so actually, Kim, number one, by the time you pick your broker, the first thing you want to do is find out if your broker's got a solution. If not, number two is there's plenty of free solutions, right? Like a G sheet, and then actually using it. And then number three is once you feel that you're ready to reinvest, actually, if you're not on the email list, I'm going to email at the show notes after this one with my latest entry on here's some CRMs that you should be looking into. And you're going to see they come at all different price points, right? Everything from the beginner one to zillions of dollars if you want to spend that. But guess what? Don't spend the zillions of dollars thinking that's going to solve your problem. Unless your problem is you have too many leads and you don't have a systematic approach to follow up. That's the problem. If the problem is I don't have enough leads, the CRM is not going to solve that for you because you would have to have a strategy to implement using the CRM in order to generate more leads, to nurture them and convert them, okay? So, Kim, your question's too specific. So, what iPhone app would I suggest? Gmail. And then download the G Sheets app that goes along with it. Fill it up with 100 people, then email me back and tell me you did so, and then I'll talk to you about what to do with the CRM. Because that CRM, you're way ahead of the game. In fact, the greatest CRM of all of them is Facebook. The greatest CRM of all of them is Facebook. And so what I want you guys to understand and what I want you to know is that social media as a new agent is one of your most important technology tools. And followed up closely behind that is making sure that everybody you know, your friends, your family, your network, your past clients, and whatever other business life like Corey, that all of them know that you are now a professional real estate agent. That's your first step. Then you start worrying about the other stuff. Because far too often, guys, we can just throw money at problems, throw money. Well, that CRM's no good if there's nobody in it to contact, okay? So that's the biggest thing. And then there are some CRMs or email programs or something similar that have almost a zero entry point. And so this is a great time. Where are we? Oh, we at 8 o'clock. Perfect. We're just after halfway. Usually, we're going to end this show probably in a few minutes. But what I want to share to you guys is that if you're new to office hours, if this is your first time watching or you've been just kind of skating along and watching and you're not on the email list, let me tell you, you're missing out because the things that we've talked about, the show notes, the episodes that we've mentioned, and also this list of CRMs and other things that we've discussed, we're going to follow up after this episode and send that straight to the email list. So I want you guys to understand that if you're not subscribed, listen, there's no catch. There's no hook here. Literally, I created office hours after work hours, right? Prime time in order to be able to talk the real business of real estate with you. So if you're not on the email list, do yourself a favor. Simply go to christalks.com/office hours and sign up for the email list. And then you are going to get a link to all these episodes and to the latest CRMs if you want that, and anything else. You're going to know first when there's episodes, special episodes. If you're not a part of it, make sure you jump on, because literally, guys, this is a passion project. There's no catch. There's no flip. There's nothing on here. And I want you guys to know that we 100% have created this show for you. So if you're watching right now and you've got a question, this is your chance. In the comments and also on Twitter, use the hashtag office hours if you're watching on Periscope. Use the hashtag office hours if you've got a question. And while I'm setting up the latest segment, I want you guys to know that if you got a question, I'll be happy to answer it, because guess what? That's why we do the show live. That's the whole point of doing it live, is to help you guys. So if you've got one, make sure that you put it in the comments or that you use the hashtag on Twitter, and I will find it. All right, so tonight we've got a new segment on the show, and I'm going to use my sound effect because it's too much fun, and this segment is called The Tip of the Week. I'm going to do that again because it's like the real estate from the clouds. The tip of the week. So the tip of the week, and what I want all of you guys to learn from, is learn from my mistake. And my tip of the week is that in the modern age of websites and development and .coms and everything else, learn from my mistake. Have you ever wondered why my website is christalks.com? Well, it's very simple, because my name was taken by the time I tried to go buy myname.com. And so therefore, don't go give that guy traffic. Don't go over there. It's not my website. Learn from my mistake, because if your name, joesmith.com, right, or jimbob.com, if your name is available, go check it out, because you might be able to buy that and own that for a very small investment, like $5 or $8, depending on the common or the unique nature of your name. Actually, the more unique, the more likely that it's available, and the cheaper it probably will be. So like down here in South Louisiana, if you're a Boudreaux, a Thibodeau, a Guidry, whatever the case may be, you probably got a good chance of getting your name. And so my tip of the week is to make sure that you buy your name.com. Because guess what? You may not use it now. You may not use it in a year, but you might need it for something in the future, and you will own that domain. And then maybe, so chrisdonaldson.com out there, if you're listening, come on, man. Let's work out a deal, because I've been trying to get my URL for a while. This guy, come on, man. So I want my URL, but what I really want you guys to learn out there is the office hours army and my friends out there, learn from my mistake. Go buy your name. You likely can afford it. It's usually going to be less than the cost of 1 month of something like Netflix or YouTube TV or whatever the case may be. This show is free, right? So what I want you guys to understand is learn from my mistake and go get your name.com, because then you can redirect it to your future web business, your current web business, or whatever you might be doing in 3, 5, 8, 10 years from now. So learn from my mistake and make sure that you take care of that. So guys, again, thank you so much for checking in live. We have gone back to our roots, and we are streaming just on the watch page and YouTube, that also my secret favorite, Periscope. So the big thing here is we do this show for you, and I've already got the next few episodes planned out and ready to go. So for those of you that are on the email list and that you voted for when we do the show, first of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking the time to vote. I want to thank you for taking the time to be a part of the Office Hours Army. I want to thank you for watching the show, and most importantly, giving me an insight for when you want me to broadcast live. So for those of you that may not be on the email list, guess what? We put out a poll this week, and I gave y'all the option, when should we stream? And in case you were wondering, we're streaming right now, prime time, 7:30 on Wednesday, because that won by an overwhelming majority. It wasn't even close. It was a landslide victory for Wednesdays at prime time. So that's why right here, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, we are streaming live because guess what? Primetime is a fun place to be. And I have no issues with that. That's where we got our start. So thanks to all of you guys who voted in the poll. So the next couple of episodes, let me talk about next week. Okay, next week is going to be a really cool episode because I met at a recent event and I'm really fond of this guy, my friend JP, who is a top real estate agent in Wyoming, like way out there in a small town. And so what we're going to be talking about next week is how to massively succeed even if you're in a small town. So how you can be a top agent in a small town. So those of you that are at home in the South, like Louisiana and Mississippi, where you've got small markets and you think, oh, well, I can't make that kind of money because I'm in a small town. Next week is going to be for you because my man JP and me are going to talk to you about the town that you work in. The market that you're in doesn't necessarily guarantee your success or non-success. So I'm looking forward to that. For those of you that have watched in the past, I also talked to my good friend Lee Brown. We're working out when she's going to come back on and a bunch of episodes. I'm looking to bring Realtor.com back on, and we're going to do lots of things. So guys, prime time on Wednesdays. This is your home for real estate talk. So again, my name is the Chris Donaldson. And I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of Office Hours. We are going to be here because everything we do here at Office Hours is for you. So if you're watching this live, thank you so much for being here. Give Jordan some love from behind the camera. It is hard work to be streaming something this wild all over the internet. Make sure you're on the email list. And guys, we'll see you next week with my man JP about succeeding in a small town. Thanks for watching.